Welcome back. Welcome back, you guys. Welcome to Talking on Edge. Thank you all for joining me on this ride. I really appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for your support. Just remember, guys, please don't forget to hit that like button. Please don't forget to subscribe. It costs you nothing, guys. Just hit that subscribe button. And I appreciate you guys. I love the comments. Keep them coming. And guys, we're just going to keep this thing going, and I appreciate you. We're going to dive right in today. Today, we're going to be talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay. I have been watching this show for, I think, the last 10 seasons. I've watched all the shows. We've seen the woman come, the Nene Leaks. We've seen, Sheree. We've seen all these, the originals that made up Kim Zolciak, all of these women that made up the show. All of them are now gone. We're dealing with kind of, recycled. Everything is just, they're trying to bring back new women into it to try and make it into the Real Housewives of Atlanta that we did love. I think this show to me is comparable now to Love and Hip Hop. I think that this show is taking a straight dive. If they do not change out the entire cast, we're gonna lose out. This franchise is going to lose out big time. Right now, for me, I'm gonna have to say, if out of all the franchise, I'm gonna have to go with Real Housewives of Potomac. To me, that's the one that holds my interest more. But so let's talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Everybody knows the drama that's going on with Kenya Moore and Britt. We know what went down. I mean, that's the only storyline, let's be honest, that is interesting. Nobody cares that Phaedra's coming on later on down in the season. Let's be honest. She added nothing to Married to Medicine. She's going to add nothing to Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't even know why they brought her back. Completely pointless. Anyways, we can move on from that. The drama, what we've all been trying to see, is what went down with Kenya Moore and Britt. Now, do we think that the producers, they have fired Kenya Moore? I've seen a lot of interviews. I've listened to a lot of podcasts. People are saying that they believe Kenya Moore is fired. She's not coming back. She said in an interview on Tamara Hall that she was not fired. So the question is, why did they stop filming with you then? What really went down? So the episode that aired last night, we finally got to see what went down. So everybody knows from the previous episode that Britt, they went to a function. Everybody was there, and Britt tried to speak to Kenya Moore, and Kenya Moore pretty much shut it down, doing what Kenya Moore does, thinking she's a diva, thinking she's a queen, and she shut it down. She shut her down, and she wasn't engaging with Britt. She refused to give Britt a moment. And Britt seemed very mad about that. I think Britt came on the show as a fan. So she was looking for a way to be able to challenge one of the original members, to see if she can get that, to be that girl that can read. And unfortunately, Britt, that didn't work out in your favor. Kenya Moore didn't give her the time of day. Kenya Moore went mute on her, and Britt started going off, and Britt started saying stuff like, yeah, you don't know me, you don't know who you're dealing with, and I got my pistols, and blah, blah, blah. And she made it seem like she's about that life. Now, Kenya Moore didn't say anything. She disengaged. She went into Portia's car. They drove off. I mean, as a mother, I could tell Kenya Moore was more of the mindset, let's get out of this situation. Still up to this point, I still don't know why the producers did not intervene. But I'm going to look at it and say that with all the producing that they do, they always see women fighting. They always see fights break out. Women are always saying things, diary of the mouth. So I don't think they took what Britt was saying literally. Yes, it's unfortunate that she used words like pistol and all that, because are you really about that life? We don't know. But then what we got to see in the episode that aired on Monday, we saw that Kenya Moore was here. She was going to have her moment. She was going to be able to, give her spa, and her hair brand, some shine. Like, she invited a lot of people to this thing, and she was going to open up her spa and do this big reveal. And Kenya Moore decided to make that moment about Brit. She literally took out, poster boards and displayed, inappropriate things about Brit from her past that I'm pretty sure Brit wouldn't want anybody to see. Pornographic stuff, like, Brit doing really, lewd, things that I'm pretty sure she did not want the world to see that. And in Kenya Moore's mind, she felt that was a comeback. She has a saying that she said in one of the seasons before. She said, "Don't come for me unless I send for you." And I believe she took that statement that she made. She literally showed us what she meant by a statement like that. I think Kenya Moore, in that moment, caused her own fate. Even if Bravo was going to say they are going to work with you, continue to work with you, after that moment, I'm not surprised that the producers, the production team does not know where to go from here when it comes to Kenya Moore. We have seen now the backlash that Kenya Moore is receiving, because at first people were saying, this is not fair for Kenya Moore. Kenya Moore, keep in mind, people did not see what went down. We were just going off of the little episodes that the episodes that have been aired so far. So people were just putting things together and saying, listen, this is not fair. Britt keeps coming for Kenya. What could be so bad that, that they stopped? They said they cannot film with Kenya no more. What could be so bad? But I believe Kenya Moore took a grenade, to basically a water gun fight, if you want to put it that way. When I watched it and I rewatched it, I thought Britt was just talking. She was just doing what people do on the show. Keep in mind, Britt came on this show as a fan. She knows that the thing to do is to get into people's face and run your mouth and act like you're a bad girl and you can take on people and do all kind of things. And Kenya Moore, thinking she's a queen and this and that, she's like, you can't come for me. Now, if Kenya Moore was so scared, right? Would you have done what you did? Let's just say Britt was about that life. Would you really have put up all these posters to shame her like that? What if she did take out her pistol on you and do all these things to you? Then what would you do? You literally went and poked the bear and poked the bear again and then poked the bear again. I think what was so daunting for me in that moment, you did all of that. This is what I'm going to say. When Kenya Moore started drinking, I've never seen Kenya Moore drink like that. They make sure they focus on her drinking a lot. So she was already lit. But I think Kenya Moore went to her spa reveal that day with the mindset to shame Britt. That was what she felt would be the highlight. This is what I'm going to do to this girl and destroy her. That was her plan. What I think Kenya Moore should have done when Britt decided to walk away, when she did not receive your flowers, she decided, girl, I came here, I'm giving you flower as a form of like, here, this is an olive branch. Do you accept my apology? Kenya didn't want it. She didn't want the card that came with it. She didn't want the flower. She said, girl, take it away. Okay? Britt decided to leave because she didn't feel Kenya even wanted her there. Why at that moment didn't Kenya say, the girl who I want to shame is not even going to be here anymore? So why do I still need to even talk about her? She's not even there. Kenya Moore continued to berate this girl in front of all these people. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If I was one of the guests that showed up there that evening, I would be so angry that you have brought me here to celebrate your hard work, and you have me looking at these pornographic pictures of somebody, and you thinking in your mind, I got justice. I would have left too. I think all those women that left, Portia, Shamia, Cynthia, even Cynthia, her friend, her real friend, said to her, listen, you're better than this. You're better than this, and I'm very disappointed in you. I rate Cynthia for that, because I believe every friend you have, if they cannot tell you the truth, they are not your friend. And Cynthia was a friend in that moment. But I think Kenya Moore realized that her plan backfired. And she literally said to herself, whoa, okay, maybe I went too far. But it was too late for her to disengage. She had to run with it like she did the right thing, but it was too late. I think she realized once all those girls walked away, it was done. That you went way too far. This was something you said was meaningful to you. You did it for your daughter. You know, this would have been a legacy for you, and you literally ruined it in that moment. And I've heard people say they drive by that spot, still not open. So you knew that this could have been, a way for you to really shine, and you took away your own shine. And up till now, Kenya Moore is not going on an apology tour. She's not saying, guys, looking back on this episode, the way it looks now, it looks really, really bad. She's standing on 10 toes down, and she's saying, listen, I know what I did was wrong, but how come we're not talking about what Britt did? How she talked about how she's going to bring a gun. If you were so scared of guns, Kenya Moore, you would have not did what you did, because what if Britt reacted in that way? What if her husband was about that life? Girl, you weren't scared. If you were scared, you would never do what you did. Never. And first of all, if you were scared, you would have never even you would have disinvited Britt to your opening. You made her come. This was all pre-planned, premeditated. You went to a Staples. You ordered all these posters. First of all, that is crazy to me. That's crazy to me that you have that much time on your hand to go digging up this girl's past like that, to shame her in that type of way. That could have been a sit-down conversation. And before, keep in mind, Britt was already on an apology tour. What I will say, Britt was on an apology tour with everybody else except Kenya Moore. I wish Britt went straight to Kenya Moore and apologized to Kenya Moore. You telling Portia and you telling Angela, everybody else that you plan to apologize is ridiculous. Apologize to Kenya Moore, right? And maybe things wouldn't have escalated the way they did. But Kenya Moore had it in her mind how she was going to destroy this girl. She went too far. And I believe that Kenya Moore, not only did she ruin her chances with Bravo, because Bravo is not going to take her back. Bravo listens to the opinions of their fans. They do. They've been waiting for this thing to air to hear the backlash. They want to hear how they want to move forward with Kenya Moore. The fans keep that show going, and the fans are not pleased. Yeah, you have your little twirl minions that are out there saying, oh, we love Kenya. Kenya can do no wrong. But trust me, there's more saying that what Kenya did was out of this world. Out of this world. She's wrong. Dead wrong. If I could say this to Kenya Moore, I would say, yes, what Brit did was, if you felt threatened, there was ways to get away. You could have go the legal way. Right? You could have told production, I don't want to film with her anymore. I don't feel safe with her. And I need you guys to create a safe space for me. You could have got a restraining order. Why haven't you done that? If you felt so threatened, why haven't you done that? Right? You were going to go take legal action against and sue production. Why didn't you follow through with that? So there are so many other avenues you could have taken beside that route that you took. You know, I also believe, I think it's going to be very hard for moving forward for Kenya Moore to get work, because I do believe that there are other people who are going to look at it and say, wow, if you don't get your way, is that what you're going to do? Go into our pass and pull up our pass and see, you know, how you can bring us down and destroy us? That's not what people want to see, girl. You got to do better. You got to do better. And as a mother, even when you want to make decisions for yourself, you always have to put your child first. Always. Your mental state was not right that day because, like I said, you were already lit. So, but everything you did was premeditated. With or without the alcohol, you were going to do that. And even when they were trying to talk you down, Shamia told you, okay, Kenya, you're doing too much. You know, where is this going? Like, and you were like, no, don't tell me it's too much, because she threatened me with a gun. A gun. If she threatened you with a gun, you wouldn't be doing this. You would be scared, right? Because you don't know. You can never predict how someone is going to react to what you do. So what if Brit decide to react to what you did now? Now what? You cause it on yourself. You know, I just think this show, I think, has just turned to, it's not even a show. It's not even watchable. It's not even enjoyable anymore. I'm trying to think right now, who has storylines? I think Shamia right now has an interesting storyline. You know, all what's going on with her little daughter. You know, we want to we want to see if she'll be able to be successful in being able to have, you know, choose another surrogate and be able to have another child. That's an interesting storyline. Who else has a storyline that we're interested in? Nobody. We're not interested in anybody's storyline. I think the show, not even Portia Williams, who they built up this hype to come back, and people were so hyped to have her back. She's not bringing anything to this show. Regardless, we can say whatever. It's great to see her back on our screen. Drew, oh my God. You don't know, Drew's another one who drives me crazy, because when she speaks, she's one of those people, she's not credible from past seasons. So a lot of times when she's speaking, it's hard to even take in what she says, because she tells so much lies. And everybody knows I hate liars. So she's already one of those people. She's like a character to me, and I just can't even bother, because you don't even know who's going to show up that day. So the whole thing is just, the Real Housewives of Atlanta this season, it was such, you know, people were anticipating this show, and it's been a letdown. It's the views alone they get weekly show it's a letdown. A lot of people have given up on the show, and this, what Kenya Moore did, it just makes the show so ghetto, so trashy. It's just not, it's not giving. Like, they can just let this go. It's not happening unless you guys do a whole recast. It's pointless at this point. So yeah, that's my opinion on this. I think that Kenya Moore, everything that's happening to her, I thought by now she would have said a lot of things differently. But I think a lot of people are, when you surround yourself with yes people, it's not a good thing. You have to have people in your life as friends that when you do wrong, they hold you accountable. They say to you, Kenya Moore, what you did was wrong. Show her the error of your ways. I find it so strange that since Cynthia Bailey spoke to Kenya Moore and Cynthia Bailey have not spoken. And Cynthia Bailey has said it, that she has tried to reach out to Kenya Moore. How can you be in your feelings? I really hope Kenya Moore is not sitting there at her house saying to herself, wow, Cynthia Bailey shamed me on live TV. She wanted a moment. And I can't be friends with her anymore because she shamed me. How about the fact you shamed yourself? Not only did you shame yourself, you shamed the entire cast of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And the person who you actually meant to shame was not even in the room. She left. She left your spa. So what you did was so stupid and irrelevant because the person you were targeting was not even there. So it didn't even have the impact that you wanted it to have. Who it impacted more, it impacted you. Now it's impacted your family because we all know that that money that you get to be on Real House of Atlanta means a lot to you. Okay? So you fired yourself. You left production with no choice. What I also am going to add to that though is that Real Housewives of Atlanta, Andy, you guys need to hold Brit accountable too. You can't just be out there making threats like that and there's no consequences for her. If you're going to let go Kenya, you have to let go Brit. There's no in between. I don't want to see Brit back next season and then you don't have Kenya back next season. That's not cool, right? And it's the same thing where you did with Phaedra and Candy. Phaedra set up Portia to tell lies on Candy, and then you let go Phaedra, right? Phaedra was gone, but then you reward bad behavior by bringing her back. The bottom line is she left the show because she lied on Candy, and Candy was not going to be moving in a space with Phaedra. So you had no choice. It's either Phaedra or Candy. So you got rid of Phaedra. But now you bring Phaedra back now that Candy's gone. Make it make sense. We're not rewarding bad behavior. You got off the show because of your action. Now you're going to let Phaedra come back on here and do the same dumb stuff she does, which is absolutely nothing. She doesn't reveal anything about her life. We don't know nothing about Phaedra. Phaedra's another liar too. So I mean, the thing is pointless. It's a little biased if you want to. If you're gonna hold everybody, if you're gonna hold Kenya Moore accountable for her actions, hold everybody accountable for their actions. Period. So that's it. So if you're gonna hold up a standard, hold up the standard. That's what it is. In a court of law, that's what the judge does. They hold you. If you're liable, you're going to have consequences, right? And, the reality is that, just so Kenya Moore, listen carefully, when you walk in court, you have to have clean hands. You don't have clean hands. So you're going around and talking about, you see guys, I'm vindicated. You are not vindicated because what you did, if we weigh it out, is actually worse. Because in the moment, Brit was just talking in the moment. She didn't go home and plan a speech and come back and to say something crazy to you. It was all in the heat of the moment. And a lot of people get in those. We all have heat of moments. You went home and planned what you were going to do. It was all premeditated. That's what makes what you did even crazier. You went and got posters. You went digging. You got a private investigator. You did way too much. That's dangerous behavior. So you cannot walk before someone and say, listen, walk before a judge and say, look, she threatened me. Then the judge is going to say, okay, what did you do now in retaliation? Right? That doesn't make any sense. Right? So Anyways, that's just my opinion on this, guys. I hope you like this episode. This is just my opinion. I'm always gonna have an unpopular opinion. I'm always never gonna have a bias. I'm gonna just give you the truth of how I see it. And that's it. So don't forget, guys, to like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, guys, for your comments. I appreciate you. And remember, guys, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. See y'all in the next episode.